Hi everyone. Today we are doing March 25th. The cartoon looks like this one. I thought it was cute. Instead of saying it was her pinky or her smallest toe, she said it was her youngest toe. And we have a reading about youngest today, so I thought that fit. Some of you are doing really well about keeping up to date on your homework assignments. There are 2 days of videos, and I looked through and it looked like quite a few people got through the introduction and the first day video. I'm not getting the vocabulary assignments back very much. So if you're having problems in sending me your sentences, your vocabulary sentences, remember that I want sentences 2 and 3 from you. And the reason that I wanted them by today is because you have a whole bunch of vocabulary papers today. So I wanted you to get done with the sentences before you had your vocabulary, the biggest part of your vocabulary today. So please send me your sentences. Now, some of you did email me and let me know that they were having problems with understanding what I meant on the family words in your vocabulary quadrant, what I meant on the family words, what you were supposed to be doing on your family words. So I have 2 things to show you to hopefully explain that. Basically, the words that you have right here are our root words, the main word. And we look at suffixes and prefixes to see what other words we can make with the root word and a suffix or a prefix. So you have this suffix and prefix grid in your packet. But I thought it would be helpful to explain family words better by giving you an example. So imagine this as the family words. And here is your root word down here where the roots of a tree would be. And then as it grows out and it has all these leaves, it has other words that sound like the root word, that have the root word in it, but have different prefixes, suffixes that goes with it. So I'm going to give you some examples. So let's say our root word is occur. I went over this on day 1, but some of the family words that have the root word occur in it are occurred, occurs, occurring, and occurrence. I'm just trying to find a place to put that one. I'll put it right here. Okay, so here's your root word occur, and then here's occurred, occurs, occurring, and occurrence. So what I want you to do is to take all of your words and combine them with suffixes and prefixes and see, oh yeah, that's actually is a word that I can use. And something that you will get familiar with, if you hear the word occurrence, then you'll be able to say, oh yeah, I know the root word is occur, so occurrence must have to do with something that's happening. Or if you hear the word occurring, it's like, oh, I know the root word is occur, so occurring must be it is happening. So if you do your vocabulary with these words, root words, you can also come up with some other family words that use the same root word. So here is occur. I've got so many things laid out, trying to keep this pace that I don't have enough places to put it when I'm done. All right, here is the next word on your vocabulary list, concept. Okay, so if we look over at the prefixes and suffixes, what could be some family words that have the root word concept? There's actually a whole bunch, and I'm going to explain some of these. We can use the word concepts, plural, concepts. We can use some other words that are not exactly the same, but it still has the root word. Conception, using your suffix tion, conceptual, conceptualized. There's a whole bunch for this one. Conceptually, let me see. I can't even read my own writing. Conceptualized, conceptualism. So unfortunately, you know that my writing is not very good, but this one does have a lot. Concepts, conception, conceptually, conceptual, conceptualized, conceptualism. So even if you don't know what the word conceptualism means, you know what concept means. So you could have a pretty good guess on what conceptually or conceptualized means, because you know what concept means. So here's your root word, here are your family words. The next one is major. The root word is major. Some of the family words could be, it takes on a completely different meaning though. But I wanted to include them because you might hear these other ones more often maybe. So remember, the major that we're using is like, oh, I have a major headache, or, oh, that was a really major wind yesterday. So, but other family words that use the root word major could be like majorly, majors, majored, and majoring. All suffixes that can be found on your grid. Just don't know if you can see that, but majorly, like that was sorry, I had someone knocking on the door. So where were we? Majorly. You could say something like, oh, I'm majorly depressed, or wow, I am majorly excited. So it's an adverb. Other ones aren't like a big important event like major and majorly, but you might hear them like majors in the Army, or you went to college and you majored in veterinarian science, or you majored in English, or I am majoring in English. So those are family words of the root word major. The next word is achieve. The root word is achieve. Some of the family words could be achieves. These are all verbs. Achieved, achieving, and then a noun would be achievement. All of those can be found on your suffix grid. Okay, so okay. Achieves, achieved, achieving, achievement are all family words to the root word achieves. Next one does not have too terribly many at all. Instance. This means, like, for example, for instance, we're going to do this instead of that. For instance, or for example. And really the only one that works in that explanation is instances. Instances. There are many instances of children arguing with their parents, or there are many instances of people helping other people during this coronavirus problems. So just one family word for the root word instance. And then the last one is initial. Like the beginning of something, you have a beginning, you have a middle, you have an ending, and initial is the beginning stages of that. Some of the family words of initial could be initially. Like I initially started to write in these boxes, but noticed they were too small. Then there are a whole bunch of other initials that sound the same and that have a different meaning. But I thought I would go over them because odds are you're going to hear it anyway. But this initial that we're talking about means beginning of something. But then there is also, like, you know, your initials. Like, here are my initials, AM. So I'm just going to put initials using our suffix grid. Initialed, I just initialed the back of this paper. Or I am initialing the front of this paper right at this moment. And I'm going to show you. See? I am initialing the front of this paper. There's my initials again. Okay. So those are the family words of initial. So some of you are sending me words that have the same meaning, and those are called synonyms. So for right now, I want us to concentrate on family words because what we're working on is just getting so used to saying these suffixes and prefixes. We don't have to think about them. We know how to say them. We know how to, even if we don't know the root word, we can at least figure out the suffixes. So we're working on suffixes and prefixes. Okay, so everybody please send me your sentences 2 and 3 from your vocabulary quadrant. This week you do have a lot of vocabulary. Today, Wednesday the 25th, you have a lot of vocabulary. So a big pause. It's probably going to take you at least probably an hour, maybe, to do these activities. Now, before you pause, sorry, take back that pause. I wanted to go over a couple of these. You have a sentence completion activity. It's page 6. And you can fill that in however you want. It's your personal opinion. For example, a major challenge in my life is, and you fill in the blank. Or what do you want to achieve? I want to achieve, fill in the sentence with what you want to do. So page 6 is personal opinion. Page 7, this true, false, and why activity is also personal opinion, and there is no right or wrong answer. For example, some people might answer true and some people might answer false on the very same question. So there's no right or wrong answer. You just have to support your answer with your reason. So let's look at number 2. Tornado warnings help save lives because they warn where and when a tornado will occur. So I could say true. Tornado warnings help save lives because they give people time to get into their basements and they're able to track it on TV to see where it's coming. But then I could also say false. Tornado warnings do not give enough time for some people, and some people houses, or they may lose their lives because they didn't have enough time from the tornado warning. So same question, 2 different answers. So there is no right or wrong answer. You just have to support it. And when you are writing these answers, please pay attention to good grammar. Start your sentence with a capital letter, start and end your sentence with a period, okay? But I want good grammar on these sentences. And yes, I would like to see your answers to page 6, your sentence completion activity, and page 7, true, false, and why, okay? So you've got some stuff to send me if you haven't. Alrighty. Next activity. We're still working on the gist or the main idea of magazine ads. The first one that you have in your packet is the Aloha one. I'll show you what it looks like in color. I shall put it there so it doesn't. So here it is. It's on the Clorox wipes. Is sort of like see-through. You can see the beautiful sunset on this beautiful beach with the palm tree, and it looks all peaceful and relaxing, and it looks very beautiful about these Clorox wipes, okay? So some of the details that it says on this: cleans like Clorox, smells like aloha, which is hello in Hawaiian. And it says still kills 99.9% of viruses and bacteria. Clorox Scentiva disinfecting wipes. Okay. So remember, the first question that we ask when we're coming up with the gist or getting the main idea is who or what is this mostly about? This is mostly about Clorox Scentiva wipes. I think that's how you would say it. Clorox Scentiva wipes. That's what it's mostly about. And the second question is, what is the most important thing about this picture? Well, there are 2 different things, really. Is it did say that it still kills 99.9% of bacteria, but it's also smells really good too, right? So the main idea could be Clorox Scentiva wipes disinfect and also smell really good. I don't know if they smell really good, but that's what the ad says. So how many words is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So does that get the gist of that magazine ad? All right. The next one is a picture of this Coors ad. And I am not in any way endorsing Coors, or I'm not endorsing beer or alcohol. I just thought it was a really good ad. Okay, so here you have this huge mountain and the little tiny person way up there on the top, and the beautiful snowy mountains in the back, and here's this rope bridge going across this big break in the mountains, going all the way over there. It looks pretty exciting, and it leads your eye upwards, and it looks like a good, fun adventure. So, and up here, if you read it in yours, it says, if you think adventure is dangerous, try routine. And what that's saying is, you know, don't be boring and do the same routine every day. Do new adventures. And then it says, climb on. So it's saying if you drink Coors beer, you'll be more adventurous. You'll have more adventures. You won't be boring. Kind of maybe that's what they're trying to convey with this picture. Okay, so first question. Who or what is this mostly about? It's about Coors beer, right? And what is the most important thing about this picture? Okay, we could say, and you can have different words in this. You know, what would you say is the main idea about that? Is drinking Coors beer leads to exciting adventures. Okay, so not necessarily true, but it's a good ad, and that's a pretty good sentence. And how many words are in that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So does that get the main idea or the gist of this magazine ad? All right. Next activity is going to be kind of fun today. It's on a completely different video. Your hand, your smooth reading, your pretty English. Leslie helped me today because some of you weren't quite getting what I meant with the echo reading, and physically you would need to stop the video after each sentence that I say. So Leslie agreed to help me today so that we can, so that you can see how echo reading looks in real life. All right, so the smooth reading this time is on hand washing, and it asks, why is it important to wash your hands? Because it helps protect you from germs. And when do you wash your hands? Well, right now, during the coronavirus, they're recommending that everyone wash their hands every 30 minutes, right? So, all righty. So, again, ignore this. We'll be working on that next week. In my other video on the smooth reading, I want you to underline the suffixes EST and the Y that sounds like E, like baby and happy and busy. Okay, now we've gone over the gist or the main idea several times. This is actually the third day we've done it. So I want you to answer those two questions. What is this mostly about? And what is the most important thing that they're trying to tell you? And try to keep it under 10 words. Alrighty, from your ventures, we're doing pages 114 and 115. Now, it's talking about, it's a grammar focus again on things that you would recommend. Now, recommend, the root word is commend. Commend means like that you really support that. You think they're really good at it. They are good. To commend someone is you're telling them you do a really good job. You're doing well. Okay, commend. So recommend. Here's our prefix RE. So recommend means that you are recommending someone or some business that does a really good job. Now on this one, the first part of it is it's asking you which plumbing service do you recommend? Okay, I thought that we would go over each of these. This will be a review for probably all of you, but I think it's good to review sometimes on how we conjugate different verbs. So, which plumbing service do you recommend? Which plumbing service does he recommend? Which plumbing service does she recommend? And which plumbing service does it recommend? Now, what is an it that can recommend something? Well, obviously not your dog, but maybe a computer, a telephone app might be recommending something. So that's that one. And then again, which plumbing service do we recommend? Which plumbing service do you all recommend? Like more than one you, but like the 4 of you in a group or something. And which plumbing service do they recommend? So that's how we conjugate that. And remember, the only difference are the he, she, and it. Instead of do, it becomes does for each one of those. Sorry, I had to pause that again because I lost one of my little boards. I was going to show you the answer to that question of which plumbing service does he recommend, does she recommend. So I recommend, let's use one of theirs. I recommend Harrison's. You recommend Harrison's. He recommends Harrison's. She recommends Harrison's. It recommends Harrison's. Remember, when you have he, she, and it, you have to add the S to the end of that verb. We recommend Harrison's. You recommend Harrison's. They recommend Harrison's. Well, that's supposed to be a D there. So that's how we would answer it. Now they have the graph for you up on the top on exercise 2. They want you to practice it. So the first question says, which plumbing service do you recommend, Harrison's or Brown's? And they gave you the first answer, and they want you to use the word cheaper. So you have to look up here and see which plumbing service is cheaper. And Harrison's is $100 an hour, and Brown's plumbing services is only $50 an hour. So Brown's is cheaper, isn't it? So you would say, I recommend Brown's plumbing service because it's cheaper. Okay, the next one that they want you to use on question number 2 is recommend and he. So remember, he, you have to use the S at the end of that, and does. If you're going to ask the question, it would be, which plumbing service does he recommend? And they want you to find the one that says fast. So if you look up here, Harrison's says it's fast. Brown's doesn't have anything about being fast. So you would say, the question was, which plumbing service does he recommend? They want you to use the word fast for your answer. So you would say, he recommends, remember you have to add the S, because it's he. He recommends Harrison's because it is fast. Okay, so you guys look at this chart to answer the rest of these questions, and then find your family partner and have the family member ask the question and you give the answer, and then switch roles where you ask the question and the family member answers. And then on page 115, you've got the same thing, but instead of talking about electrical service, plumbing services, they're talking about electricians, electrical services. So the very same thing with a family partner. You have to look at the graph and you have to say, which electric service do you recommend? A is, which electric service do you recommend? And then the B person, the B partner, your family partner, has to look at the thing and says, I recommend Westerly Electric because it is open 24 hours a day. Open 24 hours a day. The next one asks to give you an answer on fully licensed. So you look at these graphs up here, and it looks like Midway Electric is the only one that says anything about being fully licensed. So partner A would say, which electric service do you recommend? And partner B would say, I recommend Midway Electric because it is fully licensed. So the same thing, partner A, family partner B, ask and answer these questions and then switch roles. The next activity on number 3 sort of cracked me up because it wants you to write 2 or 3 businesses in your community that are like this business. So supermarkets. For those of you who live in rural towns in Kansas or in Oklahoma or in Texas, I know we've got a widespread here. You might not have 3 supermarkets in your town. I know I don't. There's 1 supermarket, 1 gas station, 1 grocery store. So you might not be able to answer this completely, but liberal, of course, does have all of this. So you choose, but answer that. And then finally, again with your family partner, you ask, which supermarket do you like? And then you answer, I like Satana Grocery Store, because actually they're a very good grocery store. And then, which restaurant do you like? I like, so on and so forth. Alrighty? So that is the end of this assignments for today. You have a lot of vocabulary. Please send me your sentences and then look at your smooth reading on the next video that includes Let's Lead. Bye. See you tomorrow.